This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Tom, you're welcome to stop by next Friday if you're in town at that point. I bet you're going to get down more later on. But good morning, man. I will give you this. I have been told and directed by you that Auburn has the worst press box in the Southeastern Conference, so I am avoiding it like the plague next week and just going to go sit in the stands.
Well, good morning, everybody. The Auburn people, like the SID office at Auburn, is one of the most, friendliest, welcoming groups that there is in the SEC. And they didn't have any choice over the decision to move it into a old trailer, a Spartan trailer at the end of the seriously connected to one of the end zones, but far back enough that you can't see the Jumbotron. And so in the rainy game in 2020, the windows were a little fogged up, so you couldn't see the field very well, couldn't see the Jumbotron, and the action is way far away from you. And so it's just a little bit frustrating because Auburn used to be at the 50. It wasn't super high up. They were just really good to the media. But, these are the trends, and, we live with them.
Tom, I want to ask you about the final 5 games remaining, starting with the Tigers next weekend. What is your kind of overall feel and take of this team heading into the back end of their schedule? That they've got some confidence back. Having KJ was a big deal last week. When the DBs come back, it just gives them a little bit more flexibility, and I think maybe in the long run it helped that these other guys are getting some playing time, and if they're needed, they could come in and help win a game the way they did against BYU. There's still difficult games left. I mean, when I look at Ole Miss, I wonder, wow, what ways can Arkansas slow this attack down? How will they stop Ole Miss? Because they'll go on 4th and 1, 4th and 2. A lot of different places on the field. And when you have 4 downs, your odds go up to move the chains. And then, LSU is going to be a tough game. I don't care what you say about or anybody says about what's going on at Auburn. That's still going to be a tough game for Arkansas to win. It just is. Liberty's got a great offense. We're going to see it's going to be neat that BYU is playing at Liberty this weekend, so we'll get to make that comparison. I'll try to watch some clips before Liberty comes rolling in here. But anyway, just a tough finishing schedule. The road game at Missouri won't be easy either. But I think under Sam Pittman, this team has learned how to win. They believe they can win. And if they go out and execute and play, keep the ball secure like they did at BYU, to a great extent, they have a chance to win games. So I think all of them are winnable, all of them are losable, and something in between is going to happen.
And without question, the toughest 2 are at home, but this team has got to learn to win on the road, which maybe leaving BYU gives you that confidence going into this 5-game stretch. If you're going to have any measure of success, in most people's opinion, Tom, you're probably going to need to win 2 of these final 5 away from Fayetteville.
Yeah, that's a good point. And like the Auburn game, Arkansas will go in, I'm sure, with a good game plan. They'll be better rested, but they're going to have to stop Tank Bigsby first and foremost. He kind of ran all over them in the game 2 years ago down there. One of his coming out parties as a freshman. So if they can get that stopped and make Robbie Ashford have to pass the ball, then they're ahead of the game. Auburn hasn't not been as efficient through the air. Now, Ashford is also a great running quarterback, too, and that has given Arkansas some trouble. But I also think Auburn, is going to have to work hard to slow down the Arkansas offense, which is kind of back rolling. Yeah. So it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a who can win the field position battle, who wins the turnover margin battle, and I don't doubt that it's going to come down to a fourth quarter deal.
I know we're just past what we'd call midterm and halfway through the season with 7 games in, but kind of where are you at with this team right now, expectation-wise, and what are the expectations in your estimate for the final 5 games?
Well, I think it's a big disappointment if they don't get bowl eligible. So that's winning 2 out of your next 5. And then, to climb up the bowl pecking ladder, if you can beat Ole Miss at home, that's a huge deal because they're rolling right now. I don't think they're as good as the number 7 team in the country where they're ranked, but they're unbeaten. They've passed every test. I bet every team in the SEC would trade their schedule for what Ole Miss did their first 7 games. On the road at Georgia Tech, they played Tulane, that tough game. Memphis, I believe, or was it Tulsa? And they were able to build some confidence. Beating Kentucky at home, Kentucky had 2 chances late in that game to score and win it on the road, but they didn't. So give Ole Miss credit. They've answered every challenge. Big test for them at LSU this weekend. But I just think getting to 6-7 wins is where Arkansas should aspire, and maybe higher. We saw last year that they went a lot more healthy, and they believed they could win, and they got 9 out of it. And so this year, the health factor has really hit them hard. But I don't think they whine and complain about that. They just go out and try to find some new way to solve it. And I don't doubt that they'll be very competitive in each game down the stretch.
Tom, if Arkansas wins, is Harsin gone?
Well, I just think from the feel of things that it's like a fait accompli, right? It's going to happen, and I'm not sure they trust any of the assistant coaches or coordinators to run the ship. And Brian Harsin is getting paid quite handsomely, and so it has the feel of letting the thing play out till the end. Their attendance hasn't just gotten horrible, as Arkansas did in 2018 and 19. Arkansas fans were tired of the product, and it reflected in the attendance. And I don't think that's happened. I think they had a pretty good crowd for Ole Miss last week. So, I don't know. It looks like this could be a play-out-the-string deal.
I want to ask you about what Sam Pittman alluded to. It might have been you that asked him that they haven't beaten Auburn yet since he's been there. They hadn't won this game on the road since 2012. Is there anything that plays into that heading into next Saturday?
Well, just that you want it. And, all those kind of things like how motivated you are, if you're playing for a coach or you're playing for this or that. When the ball's kicked off and people start slamming into each other, those things go out the window a little bit. I think Arkansas is a motivated team no matter what the circumstance. That's the difference in what Sam Pittman has installed here is that, they want to win for each other. They want to play to the best of their abilities and so on. Now, the outcome at Auburn 2 years ago, it's just one of those weird deals. And I saw a replay of the play the other day. It's such an unexpected move that when a quarterback's going to spike the ball, that he muffs the handoff and then throws it backward. And if there had not been a whistle, I don't know. The replay booth had that for a while. And there was a moment on the Arkansas sideline where it sounded as if they felt like they were about to get the ball because the whole team celebrated. That's how close they were to, if the replay official had said, Joe Fouché recovered that ball. And, I think it might have hit the official's foot. And at least one Auburn player pulled off trying to recover, but another guy was still going for it. If they had said, he threw it backwards, Arkansas wound up with the ball, we're going to give the ball to them, that's a win for Arkansas. And so, in essence, an officiating decision swayed the outcome of the game. And I think there's motivation in that, hey, look, this was our game 2 years ago. Let's go down and get this one this time. So, I do think it feeds into it some.
On the other side, for Brian Harsin and company, Auburn played pretty decent against Ole Miss this past week, at least offensively. Defensively, they got wrecked. How much do you think they want to win for their head coach, knowing that he could be out the door?
Yeah, I don't know the synergy between him and the roster, but a lot of these guys signed with the Brian Harsin regime. A lot of them stayed, did not transfer, and that kind of thing. So there is some, play for the head coach kind of deal. And I did not see any, dissension, I guess, on the sideline. It looked like Robbie Ashford was upset about something at some point in that game, but I had the sound down. They laid an egg against Missouri, but still wound up winning the game. We were listening to that driving to the AT&T Stadium in Arlington that day, and it was just such a weird series of punts that was going on in that game. But it just seems to me like they haven't let go of the rope. And I think coming off of an open date, Arkansas is going to get every bit of what Auburn is right now as a football program.
I think if Auburn had a strong AD in place, there'd probably already been a change, but they don't. And we've seen here at Arkansas what happens when you make major moves with your football coach and you don't have a leader of the athletic department. I think they're avoiding going down that trail, Tom.
You can draw similarities between what's happening there and what happened here late in 2019. I mean, 2017. After the Bielema regime ended and Julie Cromer was interim, and there was a little bit of a lack of maybe direction and vision. Hunter Yurchek got hired, the day before Chad Morris was announced. So I think they are trying to avoid that. Auburn, as an athletic program, needs to take a real deep look at itself and the direction it wants to go. And I can't speak for what they want to do, but you may be right there that with Alan Green out, there's just kind of this pause on what's going to happen. But I do believe, based on everything I've read, I don't see how Brian Harston survives a new AD and into next year.
Tom, you got Frank Thomas, Charles Barkley, and Bo Jackson as your athletic director candidates. Which one are you hiring?
The one who's most committed to, Auburn vision. I don't know. There's too much TV time and commercial time for all those guys, man. That is a nice trio of best athletes in those three sports right there. That's a strong one.
It's hard to beat. Tom, we appreciate it, man. We'll catch up a little bit on Tuesday on Auburn Week.
Sounds great.
Football is back, and BetOnline remains your number one source for all your football betting needs this season. You'll find the latest odds, matchup info, player news, and game trends. And as your continued source for all sports wagering info, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, live scores, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events like MLB, MMA, tennis, boxing, and even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 100% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. Bet online, where the game starts.